Now see children, this is the burning of magnesium ribbon. It gives a white dazzling flame. Okay, when this magnesium combines with oxygen, it forms a white powder which is called as magnesium oxide. So this type of flame you might have seen in welding exercises where the engineering works are done. So we can say that this is a chemical change where we cannot reverse the product in a reactant form. So we can say that burning of a magnesium is an example of a chemical changes. Children, just now we have observed the activity of a burning of a magnesium ribbon. You will find the chemical reaction behind this is that magnesium, when it burns in presence of oxygen, it forms a magnesium oxide. So which has got a white powder. It is white powder substance which is obtained when the magnesium burns in the presence of oxygen. Now, in our previous class, we have dealt about the different types of changes like physical, chemical, and we have seen the reversible, irreversible changes, and we have seen desirable, undesirable changes. So our main emphasis was on the on the physical changes and the chemical changes, where we have studied that in case of physical changes no new substance is obtained, whereas in case of chemical changes new substance is obtained. One physical change is not a permanent change, it can be reversed, whereas a chemical change is a permanent and it cannot be reversed. So today I am going to discuss about the energy involved during the changes. Whenever there is some change, we have to see whether energy is involved or not. So involvement of energy, involvement of energy during various changes. Okay, so when we talk about the changes, first of all, the energy which may be involved in it may be a reaction where the energy is absorbed during the reaction. So when the absorption of energy is taking place, we say that reaction as endothermic reaction. Thermic reactions. What is the meaning of this term? Endothermic reaction. Let us see. Now, children, you might have observed whenever you are doing a running exercise or you are taking a part in a sports activity, after your sports activity, you eat glucose. You will feel that your tongue feels very cool. What does it mean? That the glucose which is taken by you, it takes heat from the tongue and gives coolness to your tongue, and here the energy is absorbed by the tongue, and that's why what is happening, the tongue feels very cold. So a cooling effect of tongue occurs and it gives a endothermic reaction. So endo, in a meaning of the endo is, endo means in, endo corresponds to, endo means in, and then thermic means heat. So where the heat is taken in, that reaction is called as endothermic reaction. Now this activity, taking a glucose, you can take a Glucon-D also and keep it on your tongue, and you will feel that it gives you a cooling effect. So the change during which the heat is absorbed are called as endothermic reactions or endothermic changes. Next one is exothermic changes. Exothermic reactions or changes. Okay, here we are talking about changes, so we will be giving more emphasis on changes. So exothermic means thermic changes. If you look at the term exo, it means out. Okay, outside. Then thermic, it is heat. So exothermic. Exo means out, and thermic means heat. Already I had told you thermic means heat. So the changes or the reactions where the heat is given out are known as exothermic changes, or you can say exothermic reactions. The reaction in which the heat energy is evolved, or you can say it is given out, those reactions are called as exothermic reactions, or you can say exothermic changes. For example, when we talk about the cooking of food at home, if you just go and see, keep your hand slight above the pan which is has been used for cooking, you will feel that heat is coming out, or you will feel hot above it. What does it indicate? It means that the heat is given out. Heat is coming out. As a result, it is an example of exothermic reaction. Another example for this is that if you take a quick lime, or quick lime means calcium oxide. If you take a calcium oxide and add water to it, you will say that his fizzing sound and bubbles start coming, which indicates that heat energy is evolved. When heat energy is evolved, this after the bubbles are over, you just touch the container, you will feel that the container in which it is kept, it feels hot. It means that this is also an example of exothermic changes or exothermic reactions. So children, in other classes, now we have discussed about the changes, that is the energy, type of energy involved in the changes. So some other terms which are given in this textbook are, first one is evaporation. So we will be doing these terms one by one. First one is evaporation. So what is the meaning of evaporation? The process in which liquid changes into vapor is known as evaporation. So you might have seen the ponds, shallow ponds or small ponds, the evaporation takes place during the sunny season, where when the sun is there, evaporation takes faster. That means the as the temperature is more, that is when there is a more hot season, you will find that the evaporation takes place. Evaporation takes faster. So the process of conversion of conversion of liquid into gas, or we can say that vapor is called as evaporation. Is called as evaporation. So here, now what are the factors which are affecting the process of evaporation? The first factor is the temperature. Higher the temperature, more amount of evaporation will take place. So as the temperature increases, evaporation increases. Evaporation increases. What is the meaning of this? When there is a cold season, or you can say rainy season, the process of evaporation will be very slow, or you can say very less. Now, evaporation, when we talk about this phenomena, it is a surface phenomena. That is, when we are taking any liquid in a beaker, or you will see that the evaporation starts from the bottom, not from the top. So from bottom, when it gets temperature, it means that evaporation takes place only from the surface of the existing liquid, not from upper surface. You can say that it starts from the surface of the liquid. So this process, either when we take that temperature is high, evaporation takes the rate of evaporation is high, not only at higher temperature, the process of evaporation takes place at all temperature. it takes place it takes place at all temperatures. That is, at room temperature also you may find the process of evaporation is taking place, but the rate is slower. That is, you can say negligible rate is there during this time, but as we increase the temperature, we can find that the process of evaporation is faster. Now another factor which affects the process of evaporation is surface area. You can say surface area means if the pond, lake or river, they are larger or they are big enough, so when there is a sun, the process of evaporation is faster. But if it is a small pond where the surface area is less, you will find that the rate of evaporation is less or it is slow. So to confirm this activity, we can take two tumblers, one with wider mouth and one with a narrow mouth. Keep 100 ml of water in both the tumbler and start hitting them. You will find that the tumbler with wider mouth loses its content faster compared to the tumbler with a narrow mouth, or you can say which is having a short, because it requires surface area. Because when we are talking about the surface phenomena, the heat, as the temperature, as the heat reaches to the surface, it starts evaporating. So on the top, on the above surface, initiation, temperature increases and the particles start moving from liquid state to the gaseous state. As a result, the intermolecular force of attraction between the liquid particle, that will reduce. Okay, lesser the intermolecular force of attraction, higher will be the evaporation process. As the temperature is this, the temperature is doing this process only, it is reducing the intermolecular force of attraction between the liquid particles. So these particles, they start moving faster and they attain another physiological state which we call it as physical state, not physiological, it is a physical state which we call it as gaseous state. So they will start moving to another form of a matter from liquid to state. So we can say that evaporation is a process in which of conversion of liquid into gaseous or gas or vapor is into a gas form or vapor form is called the evaporation. The process of conversion of liquid into gas or vapor is called, simple definition you can say. Next point which we are going to talk is about boiling. So what is the meaning of this and what are the different terms associated with this? So boiling, it is a constant temperature at which liquid changes to vapor is known as boiling point. Okay, it is a constant temperature at which liquid changes into vapor is known as boiling point, and the whole phenomena is known as boiling. So you can say that you can take an example of water. When it is heated, when it attains 100-degree temperature, it starts boiling. So it is a constant temperature, constant temperature at which liquid liquid starts getting, or liquid changes into vapor is known as its boiling point, and the whole process is known as the process whole process is known as boiling. Okay, so this is the second term which we have completed. Now we'll move to the next term, condensation. So what is the meaning of condensation? See children, you might have seen when you have kept one glass filled with a ice cube, you will find the water droplets are formed at the surface of the glass. Why it is taking place? Because when the temperature of the gaseous particle is reduced, their kinetic energy reduces. As a result, they will start moving slowly. So they will try to condense with each other. As a result, when they condense with each other, that temperature at which this conversion, that is the vapors are getting converted into liquid, is known as condensation. So we can say the process in which a gas changes to a liquid by giving out heat is known as condensation. So when the temperature is reduced, that is cooling effect, we can say. When the gases are cooled, they get condensed and form. So why it is happening? Because the temperature is decreased. So we can see this by doing the activity at home, keeping an ice cube in a glass and finding that some water droplets are formed on the surface of the container. Fourth, condensation. Then we have condensation we have completed, that is condensation. Condensation means cooling of gases, cooling of gas, so that they get converted into liquid state due to due to decreased due to decreased temperature. So we can say that when the temperature is decreased, this phenomena takes place. Okay, now next term is dissolution. So this is dissolution. Children, it is the process in which substances mix thoroughly in another substance, which is known as dissolution. So for understanding this, we can take a one bowl filled with water and we start adding salt or sugar in it. You can take either salt or sugar in it and find out that when we are starting the addition of the sugar or salt in it and start stirring it, you will find that the salt gets dissolved in it. So dissolution is nothing but it is the process in which it is the process it is the process in which one sub in which one substance in which one substance dissolves, or you can say one substance mixes thoroughly with another with another substance with another substance. Example you can say sugar solution, or you can take a salt solution in water. So either you can take salt or water, both salt and sugar, both of them they get completely dissolved in water. So we have to study about the factors which affect the process of dissolution. First one is that if we increase the temperature of this solution, you will find that more amount of solute, or you can say more amount of sugar can be dissolved in water. So as the temperature increases, we can say there is an increase in the dissolution process. Second factor which affects the process of dissolution is stirring, that is how fast you are stirring the solution, how fast you are mixing the solution, that also increases the mixing of sugar into water. Third factor which we can say that affects the process of dissolution is that concentration of the sugar. That is, if you are taking large quantity of sugar, then the process of dissolution will be less. So if lesser the quantity of sugar, faster will be the process of dissolution. So we can say there are the factors which affect. First one is temperature. If we increase the temperature, the process of dissolution increases. If we increase the stirring process, that is the faster the stirring process, more amount of solute gets dissolved in water. Third one is the concentration of the solute, that is the concentration of a sugar solution. Sugar, if you are taking more quantity, that is, I have taken 1 glass of water and I want to add 2 kg of sugar in it. Is it possible to add? No. I can add only 2, 3 or 10 spoons of sugar in it, not more than that, because after a certain time you will find that the solution has reached to saturation. What is the meaning of it? That no further solute can be dissolved in a solvent. You cannot mix further sugar in a water, so it reaches to a saturation level. So that's why concentration of a solute also tells us whether the process of dissolution will be fast or slow. Children, next topic is freezing. Next term which we are going to discuss is process of freezing. So process of freezing. What is the meaning of this? When we talk about the process of freezing, the process in which liquid substance loses its heat and gets converted into solid state. So the process in which the process in which the process in which liquid substance liquid substance loses its heat and gets converted into into solid. So into solid. So you might have heard the freezers in your refrigerator where the liquid is converted into ice. So here what is happening? The liquid state of matter gets converted into solid state of matter due to the loss of heat. So the process in which liquid substance loses its heat and gets converted into solid. So here you can say water getting converted into ice. Okay, so here the opposite of this freezing, we have got another term which is called as melting. Melting. So in case of melting, it is the process in which solid absorbs heat. It is the process in which solid absorbs heat and gets converted into liquid. So you can say here just opposite of this, ice, when it is heated, it loses, absorbs heat and gets converted into water. The reverse of this, ice getting converted into water state. So this is known as melting, or it is also known as the process of fusion. So it is also known as the process of fusion is taking place. Okay, so either of the term can be used. Either you can use melting or you can use fusion. Now children, I am going to discuss about the very important phenomena which is essential for our economic purposes also. We are every year we are losing tons of money for this process, which is called as rusting, or you can say it is also called as corrosion. Okay, corrosion or rusting. So now, what is rusting? Now here, the process in which iron forms a layer of powdered iron oxide. That is the process. Iron forms forms powdered iron oxide. A powdered iron oxide on its on its on its surface due to moisture moisture and air. Okay, so whenever this takes place along with the moisture and air, you will find that favorable. When we talk about the rusting, you can see the building materials which are used in the construction of iron is used in the construction of railings, railway tracks, in construction of railway bridges, bridges over rivers, all those bridges. And every year the government of India is losing tons of money to replace these metals, right? So when we talk about this, the rust which is formed, it is loosely attached to the surface, and it is just move surface of the metal and gets removed easily. So thus, whatever metal we have used in the in the beginning is lost in the form of a metal oxide. So rusting, when we talk about this, rusting can be defined as it is a slow eating away of metals. What is the meaning of this? Slowly the rusting process eats away the metal. Why? Because once the metal which we are using, it forms a powder surface on it and it is lost, the strength of the metal is reduced. Slowly the metal is eaten away, you can say it is lost. So you can say metal, when it comes in contact with air and water, you can say here iron, we take iron, what is formed here, it gets rusted. So here the surface is rusted or rust. Now what remains with us? So it leads to the, the whole process, it leads to the spoilage of metal, or you can say spoilage of iron occurs. Now next process which we need to discuss is opposite, that is rusting is slow. We are next topic which we are going to talk is burning. So burning, the process in which a substance burns in oxygen to give off heat and light. What is happening when something is burned? It gives heat as well as heat plus light is given. So you can take a matchstick and burn and see. So this process is known as burning process. The burning is a fast process and it takes place at higher temperature. So we can just compare these two processes. We can just compare rusting and burning. Children, we will stop at this point, and rusting, comparison of rusting and burning, we will deal in my next class. So you can take down the homework for the day, that is differentiate between endothermic changes and exothermic changes along with suitable example. This is the homework for the day. Thank you very much.